Welcome to Conspiracy Files. I'm your host, Zoe Parker, and in today's episode, we're diving into one of the most controversial and politically charged conspiracy theories of the modern era, the deep state. It's a phrase that has become part of mainstream discourse, a term that fuels both political rallies and shadowy internet forums. But what does it really mean? Is the deep state a hidden network of unelected bureaucrats controlling the government from behind the scenes? A clandestine group of intelligence operatives, corporate elites, and global financiers steering national and international affairs for their own benefit? Or is it simply a convenient scapegoat, an illusion created to explain the frustrations of democracy, the inefficiencies of government, and the natural push and pull of political power? To those who believe in its existence, the deep state is more than just a theory. It's an undeniable force that operates outside of public view, embedded within institutions like the CIA, FBI, and Pentagon. These theorists argue that elected officials, presidents, senators, and congressmen are merely puppets, their policies manipulated and constrained by this invisible machine. The idea suggests that no matter who sits in the Oval Office, the true power remains unchanged, concealed behind the curtains of classified documents and backroom deals. The term deep state has gained traction in recent years, but the concept itself is far from new. Similar theories have appeared throughout history. Claims of secret societies controlling the world, shadow governments pulling the strings, and intelligence agencies wielding more power than the officials they are supposed to serve. From Cold War paranoia to modern-day whistleblower revelations, the idea of a hidden power structure has captivated and terrified people for generations. So where did this theory originate? What evidence exists to support it? Who are the supposed architects of this invisible power structure? And what do its skeptics say? Tonight, we take a deep dive into the origins, the claims, and the counter-arguments surrounding the deep state conspiracy. We'll explore the key figures tied to this theory, examine historical precedents, and unravel how this idea has taken hold in political movements across the globe. Some believe the deep state is the greatest threat to democracy. Others argue that the real danger lies in the paranoia it creates. The truth? Well, that's for you to decide. Stay tuned.
I didn't think the pain from the shingles rash would affect simple, everyday tasks like bathing, getting dressed, or even walking around. I was wrong. Though not everyone at risk will develop it, 99% of people over the age of 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time. I developed it, and the blistering rash lasted for weeks. Don't learn the hard way, like I did. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
The roots of the deep state theory run deep, entwined with history, politics, and the ever-present undercurrent of mistrust between the governed and those in power. To understand how this idea gained traction, we need to step back and examine the forces that shape it: secrecy, power consolidation, and the blurred lines between government, intelligence agencies, and the private sector. Modern notions of a deep state often trace their lineage to the aftermath of World War II, when global power dynamics shifted dramatically. The United States emerged as a superpower, its military-industrial complex expanding in ways that even President Eisenhower famously warned against in his farewell address. His words were chilling, a caution against the unchecked influence of a coalition of military, corporate, and political interests that could potentially eclipse the will of the people. As the Cold War unfolded, secrecy became a way of life for governments around the world. The rise of intelligence agencies like the CIA and KGB fostered an era where covert operations, classified documents, and black budgets were the norm. In this shadowy environment, decisions with far-reaching consequences were often made behind closed doors, out of sight and beyond accountability. To many, this was the perfect breeding ground for a shadow government, one unbound by democratic norms and oversight. The term deep state itself has roots in Turkey, where it was used to describe a clandestine network of military officers, intelligence agents, and political elites allegedly working to preserve the status quo. Over time, this concept expanded, weaving itself into the fabric of global conspiracies. For some, it became synonymous with unelected bureaucrats and government insiders who supposedly maintain control regardless of which political party holds power. By the 21st century, this theory had evolved into a global phenomenon, finding new life in the digital age. The rise of the internet and social media gave a platform to voices that might have once been relegated to the fringes. Whistleblowers like Edward Snowden revealed the extent of government surveillance programs, sparking debates about privacy and state power. WikiLeaks exposed classified information that, for some, reinforced the idea of a hidden agenda at work. Political scandals also played a significant role. Watergate, Iran-Contra, and more recently, allegations of election interference have all fed into the narrative that there's more happening beneath the surface than the public is allowed to see. Each revelation of wrongdoing or abuse of power is, to some, another piece of evidence that the real levers of control are hidden in plain sight. But the allure of the deep state theory isn't just about history or politics. It taps into something deeper, a fear of powerlessness. In an increasingly complex and interconnected world where decisions are made in rooms the average person will never enter, it's easy to imagine an unseen hand guiding events. Whether that hand exists or not, the circumstances that give rise to such beliefs are undeniable, a world where secrecy and control seem to define the balance of power. Proponents of the deep state theory argue that compelling evidence points to the existence of a hidden power structure operating within governments. While the specifics vary depending on who is making the case, certain recurring claims have become the foundation of the theory, creating a picture of clandestine influence that feels both tangible and elusive. One of the most cited pieces of evidence is the existence of black budgets. Vast sums of government funding allocated to programs so secret that even elected officials may lack access to the details. These budgets are often associated with military research, covert operations, and intelligence gathering. Critics argue that such opacity breeds opportunities for unaccountable actions, allowing hidden agendas to unfold under the guise of national security. When money flows unchecked, they suggest, so too does power. Another cornerstone of the theory is the enduring presence of career bureaucrats and intelligence officials who remain in their positions regardless of which political party holds power. To some, this suggests a permanent class of operatives with their own agendas, beholden to no one but their network. Proponents argue that these individuals, embedded deep within agencies like the CIA, NSA, and Pentagon, effectively dictate policy through their expertise and influence. Some even claim these operatives steer elected leaders in subtle ways, shaping decisions while ensuring their own interests are preserved. Connections between government officials and the private sector also fuel the narrative. The so-called revolving door, where individuals transition seamlessly between public office and lucrative private sector positions, has long been a point of contention. Critics see this as evidence of collusion, with corporations influencing policy in exchange for financial rewards or preferential treatment. When former defense officials join the boards of weapons manufacturers or ex-intelligence agents, become consultants for tech firms, it reinforces the idea that power isn't just concentrated, it's entrenched. The digital age has also brought forth a new wave of claims centered on surveillance. The sheer scope of monitoring programs revealed by whistleblowers like Edward Snowden lends weight to the argument that the deep state is watching and controlling far more than it admits. From metadata collection to alleged manipulation of online platforms, these revelations paint a picture of a system with unprecedented reach. Proponents argue that this level of surveillance isn't just about security, it's about control, with the lines between national safety and personal freedom growing increasingly blurred. Some of the most alarming claims revolve around specific incidents that theorists believe showcase the deep state at work. Assassinations, coups, and false flag operations are often cited as examples of a hidden hand shaping world events. Theories surrounding the assassination of John F. Kennedy, for instance, suggest that forces within the government orchestrated the event to protect their interests. Similarly, allegations of covert involvement in foreign coups point to a pattern of intervention that transcends political administrations. These claims form the backbone of the deep state theory. a narrative where unseen forces manipulate governments, economies, and even societies. Whether through control of resources, surveillance, or outright intervention, believers argue that this hidden network has left enough breadcrumbs to piece together a chilling puzzle. To them, the evidence is clear. The question is not if such a power exists, but how far its reach truly extends. Skeptics of the deep state theory argue that while the claims are compelling, they often rely on leaps of logic, selective evidence, and an oversimplified view of how power operates. Many point out that what proponents interpret as signs of a covert network often have more mundane explanations tied to bureaucracy, systemic inefficiencies, or the complexities of governance. One of the primary criticisms is that the idea of a unified and cohesive deep state ignores the inherent chaos and disorganization within large government systems. Skeptics argue that the notion of countless individuals across multiple agencies working together seamlessly to push a hidden agenda is implausible. They highlight that even well-funded and tightly managed projects often face delays, leaks, and resistance, making it unlikely that a secret organization could operate flawlessly in the shadows. The revolving door between government and private industry is another point of contention. Critics acknowledge that there are ethical concerns with officials transitioning into lucrative private sector roles, but they argue that this phenomenon doesn't necessarily indicate collusion or conspiracy. Instead, they suggest it reflects a natural career progression for individuals with expertise in specific fields, albeit one that needs stronger oversight and transparency. When it comes to black budgets and classified operations, skeptics emphasize that secrecy doesn't automatically equate to sinister intentions. They argue that many covert programs exist to protect national security or maintain an advantage over rival nations. For example, advanced military technologies or counterterrorism efforts may require a level of confidentiality that, while unsettling to some, is not inherently indicative of a shadow government. The use of surveillance programs is another hotly debated topic. Critics of the deep state theory argue that the revelations of mass data collection and monitoring are concerning, but are the result of policy decisions made openly by elected officials, not an invisible power structure. They contend that these programs reflect the complexities of balancing security and privacy in the digital age rather than evidence of a hidden agenda. Additionally, whistleblowers and leaks are a constant in government, which critics argue undermines the idea that such a vast conspiracy could remain concealed. Another argument against the theory is its reliance on retroactively connecting unrelated events to fit a broader narrative. Critics argue that proponents of the deep state theory often engage in confirmation bias, selectively interpreting events to support their beliefs while ignoring evidence to the contrary. For example, linking high-profile assassinations, foreign policy decisions, and economic trends into a single cohesive plan requires leaps in logic that lack substantiation. Critics ultimately suggest that the deep state theory may be less about uncovering a hidden truth and more about providing a way to make sense of an increasingly complex world. In a time when governments are massive, interconnected, and opaque, the idea of a hidden hand guiding events offers a straightforward explanation for otherwise chaotic and unpredictable systems. However, skeptics argue that such simplicity overlooks the far more likely possibility that governments are not controlled by a few, but are shaped by the conflicting interests and inefficiencies of the many.
The McDonald's Snack Wrap is back. You brought it back. Ranch Snack Wrap. Spicy Snack Wrap. You broke the internet for a snack. Snack Wrap is back. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Running a business comes with a lot of what-ifs. But luckily, there's a simple answer to them. Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku. And it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what-ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
The idea of the deep state carries profound implications for society, reflecting the pervasive mistrust many feel toward institutions that were once considered pillars of stability. At its core, this theory strikes a chord because it taps into a shared anxiety about control, power, and transparency in governance. Whether or not people believe in its existence, the deep state has become a cultural touchstone for conversations about who really holds power and how decisions that affect millions are made. One significant impact of the theory is the way it frames public discourse around authority and accountability. For those who subscribe to the concept, the deep state represents an unaccountable elite that operates beyond the reach of democratic oversight. This belief fosters a sense of disempowerment and alienation, as individuals feel their votes, voices, and choices are rendered meaningless in the face of an invisible, entrenched power. In some cases, this has led to heightened cynicism about the value of political engagement and the integrity of democratic processes. Culturally, the deep state has seeped into entertainment, media, and everyday conversations. Countless books, movies, and TV shows have explored themes of shadowy conspiracies, secret societies, and government corruption, feeding the narrative and making it accessible to a wider audience. From popular thrillers to documentary series, the concept has been packaged and repackaged as both cautionary tale and speculative drama, further blurring the line between fiction and reality in the public imagination. Politically, the resonance of the deep state theory has been weaponized by figures across the ideological spectrum. For some, it serves as a rallying cry against perceived overreach by intelligence agencies, unelected bureaucrats, or even multinational corporations. For others, it's a means to delegitimize political opponents, framing their actions as part of a broader, malevolent agenda. The theory's flexibility makes it a powerful tool, allowing it to adapt to the concerns of disparate groups, from anti-establishment activists to nationalist movements. This adaptability is also what makes the theory enduring. It thrives in times of uncertainty and upheaval, when traditional explanations for events feel insufficient or suspect. Economic downturns, political scandals, and rapid technological change all provide fertile ground for the belief that there must be an unseen hand pulling the strings. The deep state offers a narrative that simplifies these complexities, making it easier to assign blame and understand a chaotic world. Socially, the theory has contributed to a growing polarization, as its believers often see themselves as engaged in a battle against forces determined to suppress the truth. This dynamic can deepen divisions, as those who dismiss the theory as baseless may inadvertently reinforce the perception of a conspiracy by appearing dismissive or complicit. The result is a feedback loop of mistrust that extends beyond government institutions to encompass media, academia, and even science. Ultimately, the deep state theory resonates because it taps into primal fears of betrayal and manipulation. It speaks to a desire for justice and transparency in an era where both feel increasingly out of reach. While it may not reflect reality, its impact on culture, politics, and society is undeniable, shaping the way people view power and their place in the world. Some of the most provocative and unconventional ideas surrounding the deep state theory delve into realms that challenge the boundaries of plausibility, but they also captivate the imagination. These speculative perspectives often expand the theory beyond traditional political or bureaucratic structures and suggest that the alleged shadow government operates on an entirely different level, one that transcends ordinary human understanding. One particularly fringe angle posits that the deep state isn't just a network of power-hungry bureaucrats and officials, but part of a long-standing, secretive cabal that has influenced global events for centuries. This perspective suggests that certain historical families, organizations, or bloodlines have perpetuated their influence across generations, ensuring their control through financial systems, media, and even wars. These ideas often draw on symbols found in government seals, architecture, or corporate logos, interpreting them as evidence of an occult or esoteric connection. To believers, these symbols are not mere coincidences, but intentional markers left by those who wield hidden power. Another fringe theory proposes that the deep state operates with the involvement of advanced technology far beyond what is publicly known. Some argue that breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, Surveillance and even genetic engineering have been kept secret to maintain control over populations. This perspective suggests that cutting-edge innovations are not used to benefit humanity, but rather to subjugate and manipulate it, creating a world where technology silently enforces the will of unseen elites. Taking the idea of secrecy a step further, some speculate that the deep state isn't even human. This angle intertwines with theories of extraterrestrial involvement, suggesting that an alien presence may have infiltrated or even established the shadow government. Believers in this perspective claim that unexplained advancements in technology and unexplained aerial phenomena could be linked to covert collaboration between humans and non-human entities. In this narrative, the deep state is not merely a human institution, but a hybrid organization with interstellar goals that remain beyond human comprehension. Time travel and alternate dimensions also feature in speculative interpretations of the deep state. Some propose that certain shadowy groups have gained access to time manipulation or parallel realities, using this knowledge to influence historical events and ensure their dominance. These theories often suggest that major turning points in history, such as wars, elections, or scientific discoveries, were carefully orchestrated by forces with access to knowledge of the future or alternative timelines. A more metaphysical interpretation ties the deep state to ancient spiritual beliefs, suggesting that it draws power from arcane rituals, energy manipulation, or even direct connections to supernatural entities. In this view, what appears to be political corruption or manipulation on the surface is actually part of a larger mystical framework designed to harness human energy for nefarious purposes. This perspective aligns the deep state with broader ideas about secret societies and occult practices, blending political conspiracy with spiritual warfare. While these speculative angles may seem extreme, they highlight the human tendency to seek meaning in the unknown. Whether through hidden symbols, alien alliances, or advanced technologies, these theories add layers of intrigue to the deep state narrative, making it not just a conspiracy theory, but a cultural phenomenon that refuses to be confined to the realm of politics. The allure of the deep state theory lies in its capacity to weave a complex tapestry of control, secrecy, and manipulation. It taps into deep-seated fears of powerlessness in a world increasingly shaped by forces beyond the average individual's grasp. Whether you view it as a shadowy conglomerate of bureaucrats and corporate interests, or as something more fantastical, alien influence, time manipulation, or occult rituals, the theory holds up a mirror to the anxieties of our time. At its core, the idea of a hidden hand steering global events forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about transparency and accountability. It challenges us to think critically about the systems we participate in daily, from government to media to technology. Is there truth to the claim that a select few wield disproportionate influence over humanity? Or does the deep state serve as a modern myth, a way to explain the chaotic and often inscrutable nature of global politics and society? What's undeniable is the profound cultural impact of this theory. It's no longer confined to the fringes, but has seeped into public discourse, influencing how people view authority and governance. It has fueled movements, inspired books and films, and even reshaped political narratives. For better or worse, the deep state has become a symbol of distrust in established institutions, a rallying cry for those who feel left behind in an increasingly complex and unequal world. Yet, as much as the theory captivates, it also divides. For every person convinced of its existence, there is another who dismisses it as paranoia. The questions linger. Does the deep state represent a genuine threat, or is it merely a scapegoat, an easy answer to the complexities of power dynamics? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between, a blend of real systemic issues and the human tendency to create narratives. In pondering these questions, we step into a realm where the lines between fact and fiction blur. What we can say for certain is that the deep state theory, like all great mysteries, invites us to look deeper, to challenge assumptions, and to remain vigilant about the forces that shape our world. Next time on Conspiracy Files, we'll venture even further into the unknown as we explore the alien agenda. Are we already being controlled by extraterrestrials? What if the true power behind the scenes isn't human at all? Are the strange lights in the sky, the unexplained encounters, and the whispers of government cover-ups part of a larger, interstellar strategy? Join us as we delve into the mysteries of extraterrestrial influence and its implications for humanity. Thanks for tuning in to the Conspiracy Files podcast. We're here with brand new episodes every Wednesday. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, don't forget to follow us and be sure to rate, review, and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. You can also reach out anytime by emailing us at contact@theconspiracyfilespodcast.com. Until next time, and remember, the truth is out there. If you enjoyed this episode, check out our sister podcasts, True Crime Files. Delve into shocking real-life crime stories, explore unsolved mysteries, and uncover the chilling tales of infamous serial killers. Paranormal Files. Step into the eerie realm of ghosts, UFOs, cryptids, and everything in between. Ancient Mysteries. Travel back in time to uncover the secrets of ancient civilizations, unsolved mysteries, and lost treasures. And Conspiracy Theories and Cover-Ups. Discover the secrets they don't want you to know. Find them all wherever you listen to podcasts.